Welcome back to Crash Cars, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are today with a gorgeous white with black racing stripes 2015 Ford Mustang. And today we're going to review it. What does that mean? Well, on Crash Cars, what do we do for reviews? I'll tell you. We'll do an exterior, interior, driving, and like always on Crash Cars, you're going to hear an exhaust, start up, and just gorgeous revving. So, why don't I go ahead and stop talking about what I'm going to do and go ahead and do it. So let's start reviewing this Ford Mustang. Ever since way back in the day in 1964, Ford, that's when they produced the Mustang. That's when they started everything. And here they are today. And you know, now 2019 with 2015 right here. But all the way back in the day, those cars were super hot. They still are one of the most highly collected and most highly sought after muscle cars of that time period. And they're still one of the most sought after muscle cars today with the new bodies. Now, new body, old body, blah, 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 blah. What did they do in the 2015 compared to the last generation? Well, quite a bit actually. They, as you can tell, restyled the car nearly entirely. Like, if I were to put an older one up next to it, you'd be like, what? That car is the same kinda? I mean, obviously the badging and main body style idea is the same, but with new aggressive lines, a total body lowering of an 1.5 inches, a rear deck lowering of nearly 3 inches, a new grille, and even widening the body by another 1.5 inches. In my opinion, the car looks totally different, way sexier, pretty freaking mean looking. All around, I'd say awesome. Not only did they put in 3 new engine options, but they also added a ton of colors and a new interior. Now, we're gonna get to that engine, what the Mustang engine and all the fun stuff about their racing history and their culture has to offer up under the hood. We'll also jump into the interior in a little while, but first let's hop out underneath this hood. I'll talk about that heritage, like I said, and this gorgeous, gorgeous EcoBoost engine. This is the base Mustang, and the base Mustang, what does that come with? That comes with the Ford EcoBoost engine. Now, what is the Ford EcoBoost engine? I shall explain, and here it is. The Ford EcoBoost is a 2.6 liter 4-cylinder engine that is turbocharged, that produces, awkward pause, 310 horsepower and 350 foot-pounds of torque. Now that's not bad in my opinion for a base engine and a base car, especially when it gets you from 0 to 60 in just over 5 seconds. I think that's not bad for, you know, a car under 50 grand when it's this good looking. I mean, that's awesome in my opinion. Now, if you want a V8, if you want to be under 5 seconds, they have it. Obviously, a lot of you probably know about it, blah, 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 blah. Anywho, it is the 5.0 liter V8 that produces 420 horsepower and 460 foot-pounds of torque. And it gets you in sub 5, 0 to 60, and like about 4.2 seconds. So take your pick, whichever one you want. And now 2019, there are 3 engines. It is also a EcoBoost, but it is a V6. One of the 3 engines you could choose from if you want to order the car new, or if you want an older version, you got 2 engines. Anywho, enough blabbering on. I've talked about the horses underneath the hood. I've talked about the horses on top and along the sides of the bodywork. Let's jump inside the car and talk about this pretty interesting interior. First thing that catches my eye is this dashboard. Now, you might notice that it maybe not, but it's very, very similar to the dashboard that you can find and actually get as an option in a Bugatti Veyron. Now, you can also get it in a Bentley. Little interesting tidbit there. But I find that really kind of cool that Ford kind of, you know, copied that. But anyway, along with the interior, I think it's a gorgeous little add-on. Now, let's get to the rest of the interior, okay? I get it. So these Recaro bucket seats I think are actually pretty gorgeous. Yeah, they have some wrinkles on them. The car, it has 20,000 miles on it. Give it a break, okay? It's gorgeous for 20,000 miles in my opinion, with a beautiful shifter right in the center. Yes, it is a manual and we get to drive it today. So I'll speed up and we'll get to the drive in a second. Headroom, there's plenty of it. The seat's like 3/4 of the way up. I didn't lower it all the way down. I wanted you guys to be able to see that a 6'3" person actually fits in here even with the seat up high. Now, leg room in the front, it's not terrible. It's not great. Now, like I was pointing back here, there are 2 seats. I don't fit back there with a driver. It just would not work. You could fit like 2 tiny kids back there. That's about it. What else you got in here? You got a infotainment system. Now, the Ford infotainment system actually, in my opinion, is fairly easy to use. I had a Ford F-150 with the same infotainment system. It takes like 2 days to get used to. It's really, really easy. It's laid out really well. They did a really good job. Now, the navigation, it's pretty good. Most people nowadays use their phones. People's preference. On to storage. The glove box, fairly big. The center console is actually, I would say, spacious considering the size of the car. It actually surprised me when I opened it up reviewing the interior before, filming. Now, the center, not the center, the door pockets. I'm so sorry. The door pockets are tiny. I guess you could say they took the space from the door pocket and put it in the center console. Now, along in the center here, you also have the 2 cup holders and, like I said, the gorgeous shifter with an actually pretty interesting start-stop button right to the left of it. You got your hazards, your traction control off, steering, and your sport mode selector. Then up here you have a boost pressure sensor gauge, and then you also have your oil pressure gauge. Then you have your tachometer and your speedometer right in front of you, along with a tiny little screen that can tell you like your speed or just general information. And the controls for it are on the left, along with a cruise control right to the bottom. Your infotainment and volumes and like basically hands-free stuff is right here on the right. That's about it on the steering wheel. Then to the left of it, you got your blinkers, your high beams, all that fun stuff, and your wipers on the right. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. Left, right, skipped me. Now, for AC, there are 4 fairly small AC vents with one bigger vent right here, which I guess is adding to the defroster up front. And then you also do have 2 little vents right here that help defrost the windows, which I think is a nice add-on. Good job, Ford. So, yeah, I blabbered on about this interior for nearly 4 minutes. You probably are going to kill me or have skipped through this part. But enough with the interior. Let's go to the back, hear this gorgeous startup, and then take this wonderfully, wonderfully well done white Ford Mustang around the block. It sounds pretty good. It rides, yeah, a little bumpy, but that's okay. It's a Mustang. It's a muscle car. It's supposed to be a little rough. It's supposed to have character. It's supposed to, be a Mustang. Now, all the way back in, 1964, when they first came out with the car, they entered races in it. And surprisingly enough, they actually won a pretty big one. They actually won the International Tour de France rally back all the way in 1964, in the original year that they came out with the car. Change lanes for you guys. Now, what does that mean? That means like the car had rich racing history, and it still does all the way through today. And they're still, placing every now and then in top rallies and top races. But you have a road car, and you can always see those interesting, funny videos of watching a Mustang driver just throw the back end out and be an idiot and smash his beautiful Mustang into a wall. Not bad. That's the truth. Not bad. The visibility in this car, it's actually pretty good for a little coupe. The blind spots aren't too big. They're not too scary. The car is not scary to drive. It's very easy to get in and just go, especially if it's a manual. Now, if you don't know how to drive a manual, then you need to learn to drive a manual. It's a fun car to drive. It's a fun weekend car. It is a fun car for like one person to drive around, have as a daily driver. You wouldn't really want this car as, a family carrier because you can fit maybe 2 kids in the back seat, and that's it. Or one person next to you. Maybe if you're a husband and wife or boyfriend or girlfriend that aren't planning to have kids anytime soon, then yeah, it would be a good car to daily drive. Generally, this is honestly a one-person car, and this is not a bad one-person car for my taste. Like I said, it is a good daily driver. I mean, it is intended to be a daily drivable car because it fits a huge person like me, and you can fit another person in the side seat with you. But as a family car, not so much. Ride, bumpy, jittery, it's a muscle car. It's what you're gonna get. It's fun. It is enjoyable. You buy the car to have fun and enjoy it. It's a Mustang. What else can I can't really force it in your face anymore. It's awesome. Price, you can get all the way down to about $20,000, or you can go all the way up to just above $50,000 on the new cars, or you can go used car market and find them pretty well priced as well. It is time to end the review. I thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that big red subscribe button, hit that big old thumbs up, turn on that notification bell, go check out my Instagram and my Facebook. It's all the same handle, @CrashCars. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Crash Cars out. Special thanks to Texas Hot Rides for letting me review their Ford Mustang GT. Thank you guys. It was such a blast, and I am so glad I didn't really stall out, but we were close. But anyway, thank you guys. If anybody is interested in anything from Hot Rides, I got a link in description below.